The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on a break!
with Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Friday, October 21st, 2022, season 18, episode number 56. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We're live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, and we're presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It is our job today to get you guys ready for Cowboys versus Lions. That happens this Sunday at noon at AT&T Stadium. We'll tell you all of our opinions on what we think is going to happen this weekend and give you some predictions for the game as well. Let's start first with Mike McCarthy. He had his press conference today. And the first thing I wanted to kind of catch up on is Matt Let's-Go.
Yeah.
Shows up on the injury report yesterday. Doesn't sound good. What are we hearing?
No, it's good. I mean, he's been dealing with this shoulder injury. They thought he might have to have surgery back in training camp. Yeah. They've been fighting through it. The subluxation, which basically means it pops in and out. Yeah, which
every time I hear
painful.
somebody say it, it just
it sounds really good. It's another way to say your shoulder just pops in and pops out. So he's suffered a setback there, and they didn't want to go. I don't think McCarthy wanted to say that he's having surgery, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be something he'll be back from soon. He probably will have surgery here to clean this thing up and get him ready for next year.
And that would mean IR, I assume, and he's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's played some. As a backup, but I honestly think this could be a good thing because if you're going to have this surgery, have it, get it ready to go, and then he could maybe be a little bit more of a participant as far as just fighting through it right now and then having it in January. Mm-hmm. So,
and he could possibly, if he has the surgery now, means there's a good chance he's ready to go for offseason next year, which is a huge thing for, I guess, those second-year players.
Exactly.
He's had this problem throughout his career, and it was something. Excuse me. It was something that he dealt with in college, and they thought that they could kind of get through it, and they said, okay, let's see if we could play with it, and once it came out again, they're like, no, okay, we're not going to mess around with this thing anymore. That's what the surgeries, but it's something he dealt with in college.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about another interesting topic. Mike McCarthy talked about Micah Parsons and kind of how they approached him or what they talked to him about after this game. What was he saying about what Micah and the self-scouting that they did with him following the Philadelphia game?
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
Okay.
No, I mean I was there, but I mean that was part of the point in the press conference when we were like, what are we doing here on Friday? Like, seriously.
Well, the reason I thought it was interesting is because we talked a lot this week We talked a lot this week about the, kind of how do the Cowboys adapt to what Philly was able to do to Micah? And they were talking about, and Mike was, from what I could gather, he was saying something to the effect of they sat down this week with him, and Quinn basically did a really deep self-scout with him on what happened in that Philadelphia game to bet. And my assumption was not only to help him with kind of future teams that might try it, but so that when they get back to Philadelphia, they kind of have an idea of maybe here's some things you might need to improve on, some areas you can work on.
Yeah. I was a little confused by it, honestly, because talking to Micah yesterday, he was like, it's just RPO. That's all it was. They didn't do anything against me. It was just tough to stop Hurts. Now, he did say he talked to Dan Quinn and that they've got a lot of things in store down the line here that they're going to try some different things. I was like, why didn't you roll him out in that game? But that's what happens, I think, when you're facing a team that's like, we got to see what they do. Garrett used to always say, well, we do what we do. But when you're in that situation, the way they were running the ball, you have to react to them, which means the offense always has an advantage. So, I mean, but I didn't know. I didn't get that sense that it was a big sit-down thing. I don't know. Maybe I was spaced out.
Now, I think the thing that you have to, these coaches all the time sit down with players and talk to them. Maybe he walks them through. Mike is like, listen, man, I can't go through this again. I can't go through where I have a little indecision here and all that. You're going to play a team in a couple of weeks. I haven't sat down and watched the Bears play, but you have a quarterback that's very familiar with. And teams look at other teams and they say, well, what affected this defense? What, and so now you're with the Bears, you got a quarterback that can legitimately run and is a good ball handler and stuff like that. So you could see some of that RPO stuff. Again, it might not have been about Philadelphia on Christmas Eve. It might be about, hey, we're going to see this again in 2 weeks. Get ready, And so Mike is one of those guys that, to me, and, I've never been around him, only in the settings and things like that. It seems like to me he's a very prideful guy. He probably felt like I got a little bit embarrassed, in that game. And, you had players like Ed Reed having to come out and say, no, it wasn't his fault on this. I mean, that's what we have today in media. We have former players that come out, and I know that we talked about it ourselves on Monday. It's coverage, and it's these guys, and it's that guy. So, but there's a lot of people out there like, oh, look, Micah Parsons got burned a little bit. No, it wasn't. But I don't think he wants to go out there again and play with doubt or indecision again. And maybe with Dan, Dan's ensuring him like, listen, next time this is what I'm going to do for you, or this is how I'm going to help you, or this is how you can help yourself. So coaches and players have discussions, especially ones that really, really, really care about how they play their job or do their jobs.
Yeah, thinking about RPOs, I saw something. I don't know if you guys noticed it last night on that game. The Thursday night football game, Kyler Murray was in a situation. They were running an RPO, and the defender was coming.
Right.
And I'd never seen a defender do this, but the defender actually gave kind of a head fake, like he was going with the running back. It caused Kyler to keep the ball, and then he just was right on Kyler, gets a tackle. And it made me think, like, there probably are techniques that when you're playing RPO, like, there are techniques you can probably use that even makes you kind of get on the offensive a little bit, to where you can really get in the quarterback's head even more than the quarterback's in your head and make them more indecisive. Those are probably some of the things that they're talking to Mike, I would assume, about.
They're reading you, make them read you the wrong way.
Right.
It's because they're trying to get you to read them the wrong way.
Yeah. What a strange game that was. I mean, that was
I love that. It was actually a fun game.
Well, it was a fun game.
Of course, we're coming off 2 Thursday night games that have been
but
bad.
I'm just saying it was a strange game when that you could go to the restroom, if you were in there for a second, and then it would be 13-6, and you'd come back and it's 28-13.
Yeah.
They scored 20 points in seriously 10 minutes.
That was your boy.
Who?
Dalton.
Yeah.
He's not my boy.
That's your boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he threw he threw a bad interception over the middle. The other one really wasn't on him, but yeah, it was weird.
There were 3, right?
Yeah.
I thought 2 of them were kind of on him.
Maybe. Yeah.
One of them was
on
a receiver
the
deflecting.
Back. Yeah. I just can you imagine? Can you imagine though? And what would happen? And this is why if you go to the Cardinals, you can just go to the Cardinals because no one really cares. But if Dak came off the field and yelled at McCarthy like that, do you think that we would be starting the show with anything other than what's wrong with the cow? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was ridiculous.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about, but it's actually surprisingly very positive things I've seen people saying, like, oh, they care. And that's how all this kind of stuff can go. Like, it goes one of 2 ways. Either it is, oh, they're a malcontent. Dez, he used to deal with that all the time. You see him screaming on the sideline. People be like, oh, Dez going off. And then you hear the audio, and he's, like, encouraging his teammates, right? So it can go either way. But I've heard a lot of the commentary this morning that's been very, like, man, they must really care, and you want to see this happen. It's a good thing. Yeah. And I'm like,
I'd like to see the other angle. I've only seen one angle.
Well, you know exactly what he was saying.
No, I want to see what Kingsbury's angle was.
He looked terrified.
Was he just taking it?
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
No, he was, and it almost at one point it kind of looked like, get him off of me, because the receiver Hopkins is over there, kind of talking him down, like, hey man,
turn around, go away, man, just move, get some water.
It's okay, man, it's all right. Let's just settle down.
See, that's what happens when you're fighting for your life and you're down by 6.
Yes,
that's
exactly
second quarter,
exactly
and you've got to score. Because if not, what you do is you take that little kid and put him in timeout. That's what you do. That's
you don't like guys.
Well, the thing about it is they have not.
Thank you for being nice about it.
They have not done a very good job in the first quarter or so with Arizona, man. I mean, they've struggled to score. You know what I think about when I watched that game last night? Mm-hmm. That Philadelphia has New Orleans pick in the first round.
Yeah, you got to pull for the Saints.
New Orleans defense is horrible.
I think Philadelphia's own pick is going to be somewhere probably between 28 and 32.
Yeah,
probably. New Orleans pick could be a top 3 pick when it's all said and done.
Yep.
I mean, if they don't get things turned around, I know we're halfway or getting near halfway through the season, but as a Cowboy fan, you do not need the Eagles to have success in the playoffs and then turn around and then in the springtime have a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
But it might mean that they had success and they're going to keep Hurts and they're going to draft somebody else, but drafting
that's even scarier.
Because
that guy's ready to play.
Yes.
That top 5
offensive line,
to add to what they already got.
Another defensive player. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with a top 3 pick, and and it looks like the Saints are going that direction.
Yeah.
Yep. And by the way, they already got a quarterback, so it's not going to be quarterback. They're getting a player that really is a.
That's the thing about
they got
it.
A quarterback.
Yeah, if Hurts, if they make
you think they got a quarterback?
Yeah, I think they got a quarterback.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll put it to you like this.
I don't want to do what Players Lounge did the other day and go into that whole thing with Hurts, but I mean, do you really think that?
Yes,
he
because
is the
here's
guy?
the deal. In today's NFL, if you have a quarterback that has as much success as he's just had right now, just in what he's had first 7 games of the season, then you don't just let that guy go. You at least get tied to him a little bit, right? And they're gonna have to make a decision on a contract. What, by next year?
Yeah.
He's just his 3rd year.
Right. So I think from that standpoint, they whether they want to have a quarterback or not, that's a whole different conversation. But at some point, they got to make a decision. And I think that what they're seeing right now, they're like, well, he's pretty good. He's winning ball games.
Well,
it's why you can say what you want about whether Dak is worth $40 million. It is at that moment in time. You got to make a decision.
He is throwing the ball better than he has, and like they figured out when they were 2-5 or something like that. They weren't going anywhere last year. Him just throwing the ball, and they made the commitment to start running it. And all of a sudden, he's like the last 10 games, 9 games, whatever it is. I mean, he's been outstanding.
Yeah. They're gonna lose some games though this year, and they're gonna lose games because they get down early. Because somebody's going to hit them early and they're going to get down, and then he's going to have to throw back in the game. And I think that'll be how they lose a game. They're really good, though, because they're very balanced and they can do some things. And it depends on how much they get down.
I'll say this. I don't think him throwing his way back into a game is as much of a
detriment
as you would have thought it was last year.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because his receiving targets are pretty doggone good. And I think that's part of it. And I also think when you combine that with his ability to run, even in situations of games where you got to work your way back into it, if teams start saying, well, we think they're going to throw, we're going to start playing coverage, now that leaves him in a situation where he can get out and run and hurt you. So I think they have a really good balance with the different parts they have. I think they got a really good team there.
Yeah, where are you, Nelson Aguilar?
Who was the first round pick? Who did they trade for the Saints pick? Who did they give up?
The Saints, who did the Saints give up? I have to look it up, but
or who did the Eagles give up to get that pick?
No, the Saints came. The Saints came and got their pick. They had those picks.
Yeah. Oh, they had those 3 picks last year.
Chris Olave, I believe. It might have been Chris Olave.
That's actually been looking like a really good pick for New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Olave they traded up for. Is what if I've got that right?
Pick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about it.
So far.
The Saints, the Eagles, and I don't want to keep talking about the Eagles here, but they had those picks that were back to back. Remember, they were kind of right there with each other.
Yeah.
And then they moved. You thought, man, they're gonna bam bam hit 2 players, and they just moved it. The Saints came up.
Yeah.
And got Chris Olave is what they did. I believe is how that one worked.
Yep. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to get into the matchup, Cowboys versus Lions. We'll talk a little bit about this Lions team. And I want to ask the question, the Lions, as much as we like their offense and think their offense is really good, they did get blanked the last time they were on the field. And the question is, what was New England able to do? And does Dallas have the same ability to do those same things and maybe get that kind of production or that kind of lack of production out of the Lions? We'll talk about that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details. What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite and 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
No matter where you are, you can take the NFL with you with NFL Plus. Get live, local, and primetime regular season and postseason games on your phone or tablet, game replays, and more. Go to plus.nfl.com. Start your free trial of NFL Plus today.
Welcome back. Second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. The segment brought to you by blockchain.com. Let's jump into Cowboys versus Lions. As I mentioned before the break, as good as their offense has been this season, and they're ranked very high in a lot of categories. Last time they were on the field, they lost 29-0 to the New England Patriots, got shut out. So the question is, what did New England do to them that basically shut down that offense that we think so much of?
They got a lot of pressure on and they didn't really let them run the football. They only had 100 yards rushing, and what happened is Belichick has played against this quarterback twice, that we know of. That we know of. But he got him in the Super Bowl, and he got him in this past game, and it kind of freaks this guy out a little bit to play Belichick. But they did a great job. They didn't let him just pound the ball at him. The Patriots were able to on defense. They played really good run defense, and they created turnovers. And they actually got they got a scoop and score out of the deal because they got the quarterback moving out of the pocket, fumbles the ball and stuff like that. So the one thing that you can do is that you can affect the Lions the most is choke their running game, and that's what the Patriots did. They did not let them get going, and the Patriots did a good. Bailey Zappi, the quarterback filling in, did a great job of moving the Patriots that day. So keep scoring, and then put pressure on them to get them out of their offense, and then all of a sudden, you have the opportunities for the turnovers and things like that. But with this crew right here, to me, it's about stopping that running game first. And you choke that running game, they become a whole different team when it comes offensively.
Yeah, I'm a believer that when I watch this Cowboys defense, that some of their issues stopping the run have been about them being more concerned about getting to the passer, and because of that, they've gotten gashed. Do you think, Nick, in a game like this where they're going into the game knowing this team's going to run the ball at us, that's the challenge this week. The challenge is stop the run. And we heard Micah. I heard Micah in his press conference. He said multiple times yesterday in his interview, we got to stop the run. Like, that's our goal. Yeah. We got to stop the run. Do you think that in that kind of situation, they'll be better at it because that's their focus?
I think what they need to do is put the three-headed monster in the corner for a second. Like, we don't need a three-headed monster at safety right now. I need a two-headed monster, 2 safeties, and let's play some linebackers, and let's stop this run. And let, just like Brian said, let Jared Goff beat you throwing the ball. Yeah. Let those guys – and trust the corners. I mean, Anthony Brown and Trayvon Diggs, not in that order, are really good cover guys, and they're having good seasons. I think they can handle what the Lions have. They have some talent, like all teams do, but I think they can handle it. I think the focus has got to be on the run and get them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Very similar to what Washington did. Washington tried to run it, but really when it got down to it, they kept saying, we're going to put you on the field a lot, and we think you're going to go backwards as much as you're going forward, and we're going to pounce on it when it's 3rd and long, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's the Commanders game was really a great example of if the Commanders wouldn't have been penalized so much. All of a sudden it's 2nd and 7, and they run it and they get a first down. All of a sudden there's a holding. Now it's 2nd and 17, and now they have to throw the ball, or they try one of those screens or something like that, because it takes their offense out of whack. And I think that Nick's absolutely right about that. You might have to play. They're going to play 11 personnel stuff, and you're dealing with a tight end that's capable. But the Cowboys play these tight ends really, really, really well now, and I worry a little bit because maybe some of the three-headed monster stuff is down in the box, taking these tight ends out of the game too.
Yeah,
and so that's a little bit of a concern. But we had Tank Lawrence on yesterday on 105.3 The Fan, and he was talking about responsibilities, gaps, lanes. I mean, he was saying, hey, you've got to be disciplined and playing. And they missed some tackles in the hole too, and they missed some plays because just by alignment they were bad. So his thing is not so much about the physicality you have to play it's about the assignments, and don't let your assignment kill good run defense. Don't let one bad read mess 10 other guys up. I think that's what he was really talking about yesterday.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some of the players for Detroit that are kind of iffy. They're on the injury report, but seem to be guys that are important to their offense. Let's start with Deandre Swift, the running back. How much does their offense change if he's not in the game versus is in the game?
Well, he's an 8-yard-a-carry guy, and he hasn't played since week 3, and he's dealing with some things, with the ankle, shoulder, things like that. He's been kind of struggling with. This is a guy though that if he's not in the game, that's a good for the Cowboys. But they've got other guys, Williams. They've got guys that are capable. They're all the same kind of looking backs. So it's like with the Cowboys, you got Zeke and Pollard look different, and they play differently. Not that Pollard's not tough enough to take it inside, but the Lions' running game doesn't change because they put in a lighter back or a slimmer back. It's the same square guy running the ball. So they do the same things, the gap schemes that we've talked about. So not having Swift in there would help. If he plays, it's going to be very similar. The ball's going to come downhill. He's going to be explosive. He's tough. He's low center of gravity guy, and he's going to run with some physicality there. So I think that's the thing that you would have to worry about with him playing.
This is a Leighton Vander Esch game. Like Leighton Vander Esch has got to get in there and play well and get a lot of tackles. Donovan Wilson as well. And I know I said three-headed monster and all that, but Wilson's played a lot. I think that, and I don't mean that those three safeties don't play. They're all going to play, but just maybe rotate them a little bit more. And I like what you're saying about the tight ends because that's what kind of key. And they do have a good tight end in Hawkinson. Yeah. But this is a physical game that they're going to have to get off the field with filling the gaps and making tackles. And I think Leighton's going to have those linebackers. Him and Barr. They need to have double-digit tackles in this game.
Deandre Swift, according to reports, has been trending toward playing. He's doing a little bit more every day. Although Dan Campbell stopped short of saying he'd be ready to play this weekend, he is doing more every day, which leads.
McCarthy didn't say Dak is going to play,
right?
So,
So it leans toward that. Now the flip side of that is Josh Reynolds, their wide receiver. He has not practiced all week at all. What does that mean if Josh Reynolds isn't out there?
First of all, their injury report is ridiculous.
It is
because they're coming off a bye.
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand. I mean, the Cowboys. Yeah. If Velasco wouldn't have gotten hurt yesterday, every player would have had a full participation. Yeah. Now they got some guys on IR and all that. They have injuries, but man, the Lions, a mash unit over there.
Yeah.
Reynolds. What?
Yeah, I mean, with him, it's to me, the guy you have to worry about the most is St. Brown. Mm-hmm. That's the one. But Reynolds is a really good complementary piece to what they do. And, he's dealing with a knee right now. So when you're talking about when you're talking about receivers, knees, that's not a very good combination. So if he's out of the game, that's a plus right there. That's 11 personnel stuff that they do, and he's a part of that on the outside. He's been really productive, for the Lions. So him not playing, I think that takes away, because you watch the games. It's St. Brown, it's Reynolds, it's the running game. That's how they're throwing the football. Hawkinson, that's how they're throwing the ball. And so take something out of that. Take him and Swift out of that thing. Boy, I'll tell you what, that'd be something that, you would have a good advantage there.
Reynolds did play against the Patriots, right? I'm pretty sure he did. Swift did not, though.
Swift did not. He hadn't played since week 3.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to take our final break. We will come back. We got a lot of fan questions. We're going to get into these when we get back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This week! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to the break.
Miller Lite is proud to bring you Q Barbecue Fest Dallas. It's located at the Miller Lite House at AT&T Stadium. Join your Cowboys from November 4th through November 6th for some of the best barbecue in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Why are you looking perplexed?
I don't know why.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about this barbecue thing, honestly.
You excited about that?
No, I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna be going out there. I mean,
you should be excited.
Well,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's bye weekend. I don't think I'll be at AT&T Stadium on the bye weekend.
Why?
I just don't. I think I'll probably not be out there.
Okay.
Probably not be away from any stadiums, really.
You don't want to go to any stadium on a bye week.
Probably not, but I'm sure I'll be at a high school game or something like that.
I was about to say,
who's Arkansas got?
What y'all don't know about Nick is
that's what I was going to say.
A weekend without a live sporting event for Nick, I don't think that's going to happen. If you have an opportunity, you're going somewhere, Arkansas, Midwestern State, somewhere. Right. See?
Next weekend, Midwestern State.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is going to be a party.
That's what you do.
But Arkansas plays Liberty on November the 4th, and I had two choices this year. I had to pick Liberty or Alabama. Picked Alabama.
That's the better pick.
Well, we'll see. I mean, like, you're going to be leaving the stadium feeling what?
Well, it's a better game. Like, yeah, it's the matchup. You wanted to go see the matchup, right?
Yeah, it was a good third quarter.
All right, let's get the phone lines. We got a call from Dennis in Albany. Dennis, what up?
What's up, guys? I hope all is well with you and your families.
Thank you.
Tough week this week. I've been with the show long enough to know that Rob left before and he came back. So every time someone leaves, it hurts me too. So I know how close he is to Nick. So I'm sure the relationship will continue. But
been a tough couple months.
Yeah, Dave too. But I love seeing Dave up there. He's doing a great job.
Yeah,
and you guys take credit for that. So I just want to wrap up the Eagles thing, and I'm not sure, Brian. I listen to Krusty's Corner every day. The truth is, I listen to the break every night before I go to sleep, and I tune in to hear Krusty's Corner and a lot of the other show. So I just want to wrap up. I don't know how much people said about it, but everyone loves Dan Quinn, but I thought he got outcoached bad against the Eagles. We don't have to. You could say a little bit about it if you want. I thought his players were flat-footed. Number 6, Wilson, 27 didn't play that well, and of course Micah was just standing there looking. But we'll move on from that. And my other point is, I'm scared to death of this game. This feels like a Denver game. I think we win 27-17. Either a field goal or a touchdown gets us up 10 to make us feel late, but I think it's going to be a nail biter. And lastly, Brian, eat some sandwiches, eat some easy things, because that shake you're going to drink today on there is going to be tough. So best of luck with that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for listening, though.
What are you drinking today?
We have a survivor pool.
Yeah, I know about that, but what have you roped yourself into at this point?
Red onion, orange, minced garlic, cheeseburger, and spicy brown mustard in some type of liquid. I have to consume all those things mixed together.
Oh God, sounds so horrible.
Yeah.
And you're gonna drink it on air.
I've already drank a beer out of a shoe, a gym shoe. I've already had a Johnny Walker Black through a hot dog straw.
My stomach's turning right now.
Seems like you need to pick games better.
right.
I'll tell you what.
Give up on this.
For someone that's supposed to be a football expert, I'm not very expert at picking these Survivor games. It's always funny, the Survivor game, we pick, and then the injury report comes out. And then everybody that you think is going to play is just gone. You're like, wait a minute now, how'd this just happen? But yeah, you're right, Beam. I need to be better at picking
Buffalo
these games.
and Philadelphia. Just pick those two.
Well, you only pick these teams once.
Did you already pick those?
Yeah, I've already picked them. Yeah, we're good.
Well, I don't want to get to his question too much because it really will give away kind of our picks. So we'll get back to that when we get ready for our picks. I did notice something just a moment ago on Twitter, though. Supposedly, Josh Reynolds is practicing today for the Lions. So as it always happens, like when you're playing the Cowboys, everybody's going. For whatever reason, their injured players show up ready to play.
He's a Texas A&M guy, right?
Is he?
I think so. Texas A&M, probably from Texas.
Well, Romo and Nance are in, calling the game too. So
I always thought Romo and Nance would cover Cowboys Lions.
I know that's the last thing. A noon Cowboys
Lions.
Yeah, noon Cowboys Lions game. You're gonna get Romo and Nance.
All right, let's get this call. Let's get this question from Twitter from Titanic G.
Real quick, did you feel like that Quinn got outcoached? I didn't feel like he got outcoached. I think his guys let him down a little bit with the way that they played, especially the drive with the 11 straight runs.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles figured out a way to not have Micah Parsons affect them the way he's affected other teams. So if you want to call that out coached, fine. I thought they did a really nice job of just making sure that he wasn't a huge problem.
But honestly, I think that most teams have tried to do something to take him out of the game. The difference here is, and I kind of agree with you, Brian. I think the difference here was, I don't think the Dallas defense played its best game from the standpoint of execution.
I think the turnovers lost you that game.
Yeah,
I mean, because Hurts didn't kill you throwing the ball or running the ball.
Yeah.
The tight end that we were worried about, they never made a huge play down the field. The screen game was not a factor. Those turnovers was what killed you in that football game.
To me, turnovers and missed tackles. Yeah. I think that score, that was a good example of just they weren't in position. They didn't do the right things. Like the call was there. They didn't make the play. Yeah. And I think that's a prime example of what we saw throughout that game. I don't know that I put it on Dan Quinn as much as I say they just had one of those clunker kind of games, which was why I've always been saying that's why you need Dak back. Because there are going to be Sundays when your defense just doesn't play up to par.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you need a quarterback that can match points.
I mean, I came out of that game thinking if they don't turn over this ball, if Cooper Rush played like he did the previous 3 games, you're sitting there going, man, this thing don't give them short fields. Don't give them opportunities to, I mean, it was one of those things like, that to me, you played them toe to toe. All week long we were talking about their offense could do this and this and this and this. Their offense really didn't do that. I mean, they're back. They averaged 3.5 yards a carry. The quarterback, I don't think he threw it for over 5 yards of completion. It was something ridiculously low. So I don't know. I think if you don't turn over that ball in that game, you got a shot at walking out of there with a victory. I really believe that.
All right, let's take a question from Titanic G. He says, what makes you – it's a two-part question. What makes you most optimistic about the Cowboys for the rest of the season? And two, what makes you most pessimistic?
The schedule, it makes me optimistic. They will be favored to win probably 10 of the next – they got 11 games left? Probably 11 games.
Yeah.
They'll be favored
4-2.
They'll probably be favored in maybe 9 of the 11 games, I think. Maybe not at the Vikings and maybe not at Green Bay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Really?
I don't know.
You need Green Bay to keep losing.
Yeah,
to keep and questioning their existence.
They'll be favored to beat Philly probably at home, I would think. And then every other game, maybe the Titans on the road, but it's setting up well that they should win games and heavily favored on a lot of these.
Yeah.
So that's optimistic to me that they've lost to the Eagles that are undefeated and they lost to Tom Brady and the Bucs early on. I don't think that team is the same now.
No, I'll play them again.
If you the schedule, and I hate that, but if it's end of the day, that kind of crap, they're the 6th seed and the Bucs are the 3rd seed, and you would love to go and take this team to Tampa and go play them.
Yeah. No, you caught
into January.
Yeah. Except for all the injured people would not be healthy. So
I'll tell you what I'm optimistic about. There were so many questions after week 1 that now you have answers for. Yeah. And I'm talking offensively. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about it in the benefit of helping Dak Prescott. There were questions about the left tackle. There were questions about the left guard. I brought up questions about the right tackle. Had questions about the running game. Do you really need to give the ball to Zeke all those times when you got Tony Pollard? Is Mike McCarthy going to help Kellen Moore along with some of the play call and stuff? There are things that you just
receivers, some of those guys.
The receivers,
young tight ends.
Yeah, the young tight ends. See, that's what I'm saying. Those are the things that after the Tampa game, we were all sitting in here looking at each other like, damn, this is not going to be good this year. We were all like thinking, how can we do this for 16 weeks and put a brave face on? That kind of thing. But in reality, though, is you're 4-2, you're getting your quarterback back, you're in the middle of this divisional hunt, you're in the middle of the conference hunt. There's nobody in the NFC that's running away with this thing. Philadelphia, like I say, you don't turn over the ball. Philadelphia's a beatable team to me. Now, the thing on the flip side of it, though, the defense. Let's see them play against the Lions this week and really stop the run. Let's split. If we come back Monday and it's like, man, this game was way too close because the Cowboys gave up 225 yards rushing. Now we're going to be like, they have a problem. Yep. This is a really, really good running team. You shut this team down running the football, you're probably going to be able to play against anybody else in the league. I know you don't get to see Buffalo or any of these people till the very end, but if you shut down this team running the ball, they should be confident going forward. Now, that's the question mark I have. Yep. Can you really shut down a good running team?
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, optimistic thing is the Cowboys schedule. Pessimistic thing is the Eagles schedule. That's in the Giants because they're sitting ahead of you right now. But the Giants and Eagles are gonna have to play, so you
get to play them too.
Yeah, they're gonna beat each other up a little bit. They're gonna have some moments.
Both at home, yeah.
That's but it's going to be kind of tough to catch them, but you're going to make the playoffs. This team's going to make the playoffs, but you're going to have to probably go on the whole thing on the road, which
teams have done it.
Yeah, teams have done it, and this team has been pretty good on the road.
Yeah, I don't think I'm afraid of.
Well, defense travels.
Yeah,
defense,
exactly right. Defense and run game.
If it's 100 degrees in Tampa, and it'll be all right.
Yep.
And if it's 12 degrees I'm trying to think where would you play. Where would you
Buffalo.
play that's cold?
Well, that wouldn't happen.
I don't know. Like what NFC team would you play? Philly.
Yeah, you play. If you had to go on the road in Philly, Philly's a possibility.
New York's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other NFC teams I can think of that'll be up there.
It was kind of weird how the Rams ended up with the home field championship game with all the upsets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay losing, San Francisco going up. I mean, you never know. San Francisco did a great job. Play defense, run the football, travels.
Yeah, picked up McCaffrey now and see what happens to him.
Yeah,
that's really running the ball.
If Green Bay doesn't make the playoffs, then you're pretty much assured that there won't be any crazy weather in the NFC in the playoffs. I mean, New York and Philly, they could, but it's not going to be that crazy. Green Bay's the one you worry, like, you get this blizzard, right? That's
you guys will have fun traveling to Minnesota. Maybe that might be one you don't want to
be cozy in there.
Yeah, once you get in the stadium,
just
like being at home.
Just walking off that bus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That coming down that ramp on that airplane.
Be a little slippery.
It'd be like Rocky coming at Rocky IV, just walking down to there in Russia. Yeah.
I'm talking about Paulie.
Yeah,
stumbling through the snow. What are we doing here?
Yeah, what about the Rose Bowl? Yeah.
All right, let's take another question. This one's from Big Dog 3004. He says, "Why aren't we using Turpin more?"
Don't know. I
how would you like to see them use Turpin
on the field, like on offense?
Yes, and how would you like to see?
Give them the ball. Give them the ball on a reverse once a game.
Yeah.
Fake it to them 4 times a game. Get them out there, get them in space, get this thing going wide, because if the wider this defense, I don't know why I'm loud. Sorry. The wider this defense is, the more it would open up things for Zeke, for Dak, for the middle of the field, for the tight ends to go over there. I just think you got to make them honest. You have a playmaking threat. He's shown on those punt returns that you think that he's not going to get around that edge. This is going to be a 3-yard. Why are you going wide? Go up the middle. And he's like, well, because I'm 140 pounds. And number 2, I can get this corner. And he does. And he gets the corner and he gets 12 yards.
If you remember, there was a game earlier this season where they did an end around to him, and you didn't think he would get the corner. He didn't get a lot of yards out of it, but he turned the corner.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's the kind of speed that you want to make teams have to be aware of and think about.
I just want him out there.
They used him on that Dak run that was the option. They
Yeah.
used him on that thing. The thing with him, do you kind of feel like that? I just worry about him holding on to the ball.
Oh.
There's kind of that. There's a lot going on,
Mm-hmm.
and like he catches it, and sometimes you're like, boys, you really got this one. And then he takes off running. The explosiveness, the speed, and all that, it's super impressive. I'm going to say they probably have packages ready for him, but do you have to use the packages against the Lions or the Bears? Is that something that maybe you self-scout after the bye week, and you're like, I remember Lucky Whitehead with a huge jet sweep against Green Bay right before the half.
Yeah.
That got the first down, and then now they got the drive, and then they threw the ball to Bryce in the corner of the end zone. Remember that right before the half? It was a drive.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were going to punt, and they ran a jet sweep with Lucky Whitehead, and it got a first down, and now the drive's moving. Yeah. Now you got bam, bam, bam. You're moving down the field. I think they probably have something available. I don't think
7 years ago.
I don't. Well, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because it was right before the half. You're thinking they're going to punt the ball. They're just going to punt it and hope that Aaron Rodgers doesn't. But you end up scoring a touchdown with to throw it to Bryce, and that's how it works. But I don't know. I think they probably got some packages. I just don't know if they're going to break them out against the Lions or the Bears. How about that?
But you could also say that sometimes special teams coaches like to throw out fake punts and stuff in the preseason. You throw it out in games like that to put it out there, put it on tape, give him the ball in reverse, and then the next 3 or 4 games he's out there maybe on a fake reverse. But I do think his speed is something that needs to be utilized.
You're
a little
not
bit
wrong.
more.
You're not wrong.
Just put it out there on tape. Just run him a 9 down the seam, and just let that safety know, wow, that dude's fast.
Yeah,
and then you don't have to do anything with it.
You can look at that from both perspectives. Do you want to put it on tape and make them worry about it, make them try to practice it? Or do you not want to put it on tape and hope that nobody's paying attention, and then in some game where you really need it most, you pop it out there, right? So it could go either way. Both could work, right?
He's out there a little bit. He's playing some on offense. He's going to do
Sound like
something.
Nick's gut feeling has already been written for this weekend.
Well, I said it on the radio this morning. I said that he's going to score a touchdown this week.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, let's go ahead and get the picks. It's time to get the picks. Tell me what you think is going to happen this Sunday.
Serpent's going to score a touchdown this week. I see a touchdown to somebody else that hasn't scored. I mean, maybe a Schultz, maybe a Hendershot, somebody like that. Maybe Dak. runs one in. That'd be great. I think Cowboys win 28-23. I think it's going to be a tough game for a little while, and then I think that they'll grind it out and maybe win. But I do think it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge. I went 31-23 Dallas in this game, and the thing that worries me a little bit is don't let this thing get into the fourth and they're still close. Mm-hmm. Make sure somehow get a stop. The biggest fear I have of them is running the football. That's the biggest fear I have. And all of a sudden, if it's a close game, they can keep running, because you saw what happened with Micah Parsons today. It wasn't so much about the RPOs. The running game takes him out of rushing. Philadelphia knew Jack Driscoll playing left or playing right tackle was a bad situation for them. They just ran the ball to keep him from having a pass block. So that's the thing I worry about. If you can find a way to make this guy throw the football, I think you got a shot at really putting some hurt on him.
I know we talked all week about Detroit and how good they are offensively. We also talked about how bad they are defensively. Yeah. I think this is a game that, to me, will not be close. I think the Cowboys are going to run away with this game.
Atlanta?
Primarily, the reason why I think that's going to happen is because I look at this and I say the Cowboys right now, as we heard from Micah, I think they are going to go into this game saying, you are not going to run the ball against us. So you might be able to try to throw it, but that's also going to back them into a corner of saying, okay, you're going to go against our best. So if you're going to try to throw the ball, if you're going to need to throw the ball, that's where we are at our best. I think they're going to do a lot of running on first and second down, trying to establish it, and I think it's just going to paint them into a deeper corner, and the Cowboys are going to take advantage of that. I think the final score, 27-6. Cowboys destroy the Lions. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back on Monday, and we'll tell you what went right and wrong and give you our impressions of this Cowboys team heading into at that point, will be week 8 of the season. For Nick Eatman, Brian Broaddus, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!